Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is a Ukrainian reading. You could still watch the reading and see how um, where it fits, or if you want to reflect on things with it. There can be a message that you might find that you connect to. So I did pull out the cards. There was the star card that came out. It popped out from the Slavic Legends tarot. And it was reversed. And I say reversed in quotes, quotation marks, even when it's a major arcana. I feel like as a reversed position, it still it still feels like um you're left with optimism, or like the message of to not give up, maybe not give up on your dreams, not to give up hope, um because as a reversed, it just feels like it's if a person lost their way, like they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel and they're getting discouraged, or you're like just like a damn energy being what am I even doing, because I feel like my efforts just don't really do much. But with the star card, I really feel that there's just like a strong energy that is telling you that you're you're doing great with it. Like for some reason I was like in my head like, you're doing great, champ. So it's like um just it's okay to hold on to those dreams. um I heard manifesting, if you want to look into manifesting, it isn't necessarily holding on to dreams, but um there's the energy of that the card is depicting, or like that's coming out, is to not lose hope. I'm sorry, I went like 3 minutes just to say that, but I feel like it is that strong with this message. Um, I also have the Archangel Oracle. Remember who you are, Archangel Michael. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You're very loved in prosperity. Archangel Ariel, your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. So, I'm just I'm wearing shorts. I usually wear this with like a skirt because it's like a crop top. Um, oh, I a surprise that I went out technically yesterday. I say it in a lot of videos. Um, that I filmed late, and I am filming late. At a time I don't usually make videos, but it's okay. And to clarify the card, I didn't turn it around, but it's the Seven of Wands. It just feels that explains a lot of why it came out like that. Because the Seven of Wands is literally a card of opposition, where you feel like maybe there's a lot of things like coming at you in different directions, and um there could also be that fatigue coming from it too, like how far do I need to go, or how much do I need to do this until something happens, or until like reinforcements come in, or until like there's something that makes it seem like this is because of something. Then you have the Eight of Wands from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot. As I was saying, I wasn't really gonna do anything outside the house, but um, my godbrother helps with, I say events in quotes because the thing that he's doing now is that he's going to, um, he had a funeral and I'm gonna help with him with that. So, saying like events is like, it feels kind of rude to say that with the other things, but I realized when I'm asked to help out occasionally that I don't really have anything to wear. Um, in general, it's for a funeral, but it's also the um, kind of uniform of wearing black. And I have some black, but um, not like as formal clothing. And I don't really have many formal pieces of clothing. So I went to Ross and I did get a couple of things. I got one dress and I was surprised that I loved it because it's like a flapper type style dress. Like more of a vintage where it's more like, I don't want to say boxy, but it's straight and then there's some, you know, frill at the bottom. And then I just got like other black tops to go with a skirt that I wear frequently. I wear a lot of long skirts and I I just felt like it was the mood and the time to invest in other tops because I mainly wear a tank top with it and I'll still wear it, but it's nice to have variation at times. I try not to buy too much like at the stores or in the malls. I like to support Hot Topic, I'm not gonna lie, because I love it and I don't want it to close down. Um, but that was just the news. There was also like an interesting thing for some reason. I felt like it could be in this reading. I recently did an assignment and I and the dress could be used for like graduation photos since there's specific guidelines of what not to wear. So, um, one of my assignments was that it was talking about like addiction, abuse, tolerance, dependency. So those are all different terms, but they coincide in many situations. So when we think about addiction, we think about like the change of mindset or almost a lack of control of the mindset where you have like the inability to give in to taking, in this situation it would be a medication. um, then for dependency, dependency is linked to your body being physically dependent, or needing to take that medication or drug. Um, let's see, tolerance would be maybe you take a certain amount of the drug and it's just not hitting the way that it used to, so you take more of it because your body is used to taking that drug. And abuse, usually, or it does associate with drugs that have psychoactive effects. Um, One of them being ketamine, because ketamine is more than a horse tranquilizer. Um, it is fast acting and it is strong, so that could be the appeal there too. Another reason why you might want to use it on larger animals, but it has been recently been used for um, treatment resistant depression. So these can be patients or people that have gone through a list of treatments to help with their depression. It didn't work. And so they go through like maybe the ketamine treatment or the ketamine infusion. Then sometimes, well, I don't know if it's all cases, but with ketamine infusion, I know at least when I worked at the last pharmacy, um, the ketamine compounds were um, used to help hold the patient over until their next treatment, so, or their next appointment. Um, so even with you like getting it from a specific source and you're, well, more so like getting prescribed the medication, there could be risks of having that type of addiction, um, to maybe escape reality or to enhance experiences. Again, with the tolerance, if you feel like you're you keep going up in your dose and it's still um, not getting you where you feel like it needs to be, that could be a discussion for you and your doctor. Um, it does have those psychoactive effects. It does have hallucinogenic effects, analgesic. Let's see, which is linked to the psychoactive effects. Um, but they're like with the star, I feel like it's gonna come to me like for why I brought it up in the reading, but I also go on tangents too. But I feel like I eventually bring it in full circle with it. So the obstacle is the Chariot card. Interestingly, with the star that was kind of coming out in reverse and clarified with the Seven of Wands, it does feel a little bit of like a lack of direction. And even the past is kind of like being able to make efforts to get back up and to keep going. Like maybe you feel like the situations or the efforts haven't been doing anything. It hasn't transformed anything. It hasn't um, enhanced anything. But with the Queen of Wands in the past, it makes me feel like that it's trying to bring back that energy of recognizing maybe the power that you have in yourself and like maybe the boldness because the Queen of Wands has more of like a bold personality. Um, it's almost like the universe saying like, where is this person that was doing that, and was active and was like fearless and was determined and honestly like cut in places like was relentless. Like this person, it's almost like they close themselves off or like they shut up. And it's what you make it, because I feel like with the future card being justice, it is kind of telling like if you don't put effort in, like you'll see just maybe things like losing its grip or reality not being even being less magical than what you are even seeing now. Um, so with the prosperity card, there is the cornucopia card, or it is like it has a cornucopia, and me already forgetting like if I read them already. So again, remember who you are, Archangel Michael. You are a powerful, loving, creative child of God. You're very loved. Prosperity, Archangel Ariel. Your needs are provided for as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. So I really do feel like, and like with the Justice card, it looks like it's kind of overlapping how to overcome the obstacle and the overall energy. So it's the Three of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles being the overall energy. There's this like children's movie. It's The Willoughbys. It's on Netflix, and I don't know how old it is, but I came across it one day, and it was like basically parents that neglected their children, but the other part of it that I was like thinking about with this reading, it was like with the Ten of Pentacles in the lineage. Um, so the ancestors or like their grandfathers and like people before them did all these things in life, and like their accomplishments were in history books, that type of thing. And so the newest generation or like the parents, it's like they're kind of, I'm not saying anybody's parents specifically, but just in general, it kind of feels like um they were wasting the fortune and they didn't really care for the children, and their previous like um family members or like the people before them, they were more of a close knit family, and there was like the oldest, and you know how it is with the oldest a lot of times. I'm not saying for all the times, but um, feeling like they need to do something to bring back their family name. So I feel like there is more of like that reminder of not necessarily remember of like what the people before you did, although you definitely can. I do feel like it's more of an emphasis of like the things that you're doing in your life and how impactful it really is, because when you're like not doing anything, it's like kind of you're kind of losing grip of what those things that you wanted or what you were like striving for. So sorry, and an anesthetic that ketamine is known for treating, or is what it is. So it does feel like trying to get out of that momentum or out of that cycle because it looks like there is like a almost like an alternate reality, or you place yourself in another cycle, and I don't feel like it's, I mean, it could be you, it could be somebody else that just dropped from reality, or like what their purpose was initially. And it was interesting because I remember last, not last December, but the December before that, um, the day after Christmas, there was something that happens where I usually get like visions between when I'm asleep and when I'm about to wake up. And so there was like, I was laying in bed and I was sleeping and I was about to wake up, and there was like this angel or like this being floating above me. And it almost reminded me of like Mary because of like the layers of fabric, and it flowed and it was white, and it felt like angel energy, just of how it was, and like just floating above me. And um I recently had that not too long ago, where I was walking back upstairs because I'm at my parents' house, and I'm still like that person that like kind of rushes up the stairs, but I do say like the archangel um prayer. And um as I was like going up, I had that energy pop up again where it was like floating, and there was like that white fabric, or like kind of iridescent like white fabric just flowing in the air too. So it just felt like another angel appearance, because other times like spirits don't uh, come to me like that in that way. Um, so I thought that was interesting because, and I felt like it was maybe like a sign for myself too. Then I got like the Three of Swords reversed. And honestly, for this card, you can make it what it is. I understand um, that a lot of times people refer to it as the heartbreak card. It kind of, I'm not that okay with it. Um, but I can see why people would want to say that, but um, just seeing it in the sword suit, it just, I know there's a heart there, but it just doesn't like connect with me in that way. There could be like the psychological stuff that's going on with it, and that's why it's kind of like turning reverse. But I also feel like there's like the saying like where it isn't over, or like there's still stuff to be had with it. I don't necessarily want to bring like manifestation into it, because when we're thinking about manifestation, um, it's like defined as wanting something but being okay with not having it. So I thought that was interesting, but I feel like the presence of it is still like there, like for a reason. And the star like kind of gives you that kind of like boost in confidence. I was gonna say for some reason, like, well, in my head, morale was coming up, but So there could be like what feels like the right thing to do too, based off of maybe your moral compass and maybe a universal moral compass, kind of combining them. And interesting that there is like death that comes with it with the Four of Swords. So Four of Swords does come, and so maybe like the Three of Swords is behind, and now it's like the Four of Swords, where it feels like all the things that you went through, maybe, and you just like can rest or like rest assured, or feel like maybe some things are behind type of situation. It just feels like a good night's rest in that way. With the death being another major arcana, because Justice and the Star and the Chariot, those are major arcana cards, so there's quite a few. Interesting with the death card, it's like when you experience death a lot of times, and because it's not usually physical death in the reading, um, but usually, but it feels like what happens like when you're after you experience that type of death and life still goes on. I do watch like a sewing channel too sometimes, and it was she says like she so seems she says that even when you don't do it like what is technically what could be the correct way, because there might be multiple ways of doing it, but if you're like maybe just starting off, or maybe you want to just try a new technique and see how you do and just get your practice in, like even when you do this or even when you do that or even when you like choose not to add a lining or you choose not to like finish your seams, like the world keeps turning and it's not um like don't let it like pull you back or like stop you from living your life or trying new things, like trying new things in your hobbies or in your life, or even like if you're like connecting, to not let it hold you back in that way. So there's the Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles, and it's this is like maybe the consistency that you're trying to get in the reading, because this is like a card that and like an energy that um offers that consistency or maybe offers that loyalty, because it stays and it sticks together. um Out of all the nights that you have, this one seems like it would probably be like the responsible one. So this is something that um, seems to be a thing going on in this reading, to with especially with the star and what you make out of it, like with the justice card, um, and honestly like staying true to yourself too, and seeing it as a whole, um, because maybe you may not be suffering like another person, but the other person might be going through a lot too, and maybe you already know that, and so you don't want to really like bring more suffering in that situation. You can apply it and like do what it could be, or like apply it in a way to where it seems like it could be applied, because not everything is like not every obviously not every situation is the same, but there's like that understanding. um there's like an energy of like due diligence too with the Knight of Coins. I don't know, the Knight of Coins just seems like, and this could be the other energy as well, like maybe they're understanding even though they might be going through stuff, but they understand like maybe it might not be easy on the other side too. Um, so it does feel like maybe this could be. I feel like this could be another energy like associated with your energy, but it could also be like a different part of your life too. But this is the reading. I think I'm gonna. Well, I have. So sorry, my leg. Um, have one more month of the main coursework, but I think I'm doing like more of other things. That's nice. I think I'm gonna write an article, like one of the next articles for Balakun, um, because they've evolved and like they do more things, and one of the people that are like run Balakun, they're like wondering if anybody wanted to write anything, and I felt like Hermione when she raises her hand in Harry Potter because I do enjoy writing, and I think it would be nice. One of the things on my bucket list is to like write uh, a post on one of the healthcare websites, like when you're a student and you research things, and when you're not a student and you still research things, and you're looking at these posts. Um, I really want um, to have one of my posts be up there. So I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.